I was called and asked to present Todd Phillips with an award at the Montreal Comedy Festival for Best Comedy Directing. And they called me, and it was very formal, and they were very excited and said, Todd Phillips has recommended you. This is after The Hangover. Recommended you, and we will provide you with a first-class ticket. You'll be staying at the best hotel in Montreal, and it'd be really amazing. Todd would be very honored if you would do this for him. He'd be so excited. And I was like, Todd would? Of course I'll do that. First-class ticket to freaking the Montreal Comedy Festival. I get to do stand-up, and I'll present him with an award, have a blast. I'm there. You know, I see Todd. We're flying first class. I'm like, dude, you know, it's great. And he looks at me and he goes, "Are you doing this?" I go, "I'm presenting you with the award." He goes, "No." He looks at me and goes, "Hey, what are you doing?" I go, "What am I doing?" "I'm presenting you with an award." He goes, "You are?" Oh, and I go, "Yeah, of course I am. That's why I'm flying here, to give you the award. I got a speech and everything." He goes, "Oh, Jesus Christ, they're so crazy." I go, "Whatever." He was tying his shoe. And his assistant comes in and goes, "Hey, you got this award. They want somebody to present it to you. Who do you think?" And Todd apparently was tying his shoe. He goes, "I don't know. If Callan's doing stand-up out there, maybe he could do it. I don't know, whatever." And then he just goes on to do something else. That's all he had to say. And it was like, "Wah!" Todd Phillips would be honored. It'd be amazing. And people fill in the fucking words for you, man.
Bro, I thought you were going to give us a... I thought it had to do with them being...
No, what I was going to say is this. I'm sorry. Let me bring it full circle, please. Which is that in Hollywood, if a star or somebody with power says one tiny thing, it'll set off a chain reaction. Like, so when Tom Cruise is about to do a movie, I know this. Tom Cruise will say yes to a movie. The year before he's thinking about doing the movie, there is a whole machine getting ready and in place in case he says yes. And then when he says he's not going to do it, which is like just a mind change, everything goes, it just crumples down. And one person can have a ripple effect that's fucking beyond anything.
But you're also open-minded enough to start a podcast because you can see the trend, and you're not like, no, serious radio or bust, man. This is.
Well, I wasn't allowed to. I wanted to have one years ago, but it was in my contract that I wasn't allowed to.
Fair.
And then there were like these little dudes that had shows on Sirius that had a podcast that were doing out of the studio. And I'm like, how the fuck are you doing one? He's like, I just do it. They don't care. And I'm like, oh, so my show's so big that I'm not allowed to do one. And because your show sucks, you can do one?
Fair enough.
Fuck that.
Like, so you just started doing it?
Well, no, I had to get a goddamn fucking contract that like entitled me to have one.
Yeah, I can see why
because they were like,
hesitant.
"No, dude, we're what you're like our thing." But they stopped me from a TV show. At one point, I had a TV show, 2-year deal for MTV2, just about my radio show on TV.
And they wouldn't let you do it?
Went to sign it, and the CEO of Sirius shut it down.
Why though? That helps Sirius.
People could listen to your show on TV and no longer need to
subscribe.
Come on. That was the argument.
No,
and then in the end, because I did what you're doing right now, in the end it was like, look, we have a personal problem with Viacom. It's not your fault. Don't worry, we'll compensate you.
Fair enough.
They didn't.
Okay.
And then I did. And then I did the craziest rage on radio that I've ever done to this day.
You went nuclear.
I went nuclear at the CEO of SiriusXM.
And you didn't get fired?
I named him.
And you didn't get fired?
I got taken care of.
You fucking right.
I didn't mean to. I don't plan anything. Like these days I kind of learn because I've learned from my mistakes, but most of the journey has been a accidental genius. I envisioned this is going to happen.
No, but you're doing what your heart tells you to do. And I feel like passion and like emotion, like same thing when we left Fox. When I walked out of that office, as I'm walking out, Brian was there. The guy who we were dealing with goes, "Hey man, I know you like to tell everyone, your fan base what's going on. We'd appreciate it if you don't say anything." I went, "I can't do that. No promises, man." Yeah. I walk out and went straight to the studio the next morning and went, "This is what's going on." Next morning, I find out they locked the doors. We weren't allowed in the studio anymore. I'm like, "That's fine. I don't give a fuck." Like that, it's good. It's only going to help me out more, man.
Yeah, I mean, you're the same as me. We come from something where we worked hard to get where we are, and I ain't anybody's bitch.
Yeah.
And if you try to push me, I'll push you back because I believe in. I believe that I've already been successful at things before, and you can take as much away from me as you want. I'll figure out another way to beat it.
Yeah,
you can call that blind, stupid, whatever you can call whatever the fuck you want. Watch me.
Yeah, I always say I'll bet on myself.
Right.
And, Brian's not from that same cut of cloth, and he's like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? This I'm like, trust me.
He seems like he's pretty successful with everything he does.
For sure, it's just it's different. Brian doesn't want to ruffle any feathers. He wants everyone to like him. Some white dude that
Brett
owns,
Radner.
Reddit.
Just kidding.
Is it Reddit?
Oh no, the guy who sold Reddit. Yeah.
She
just
loves
some
white
normal
dudes.
average white dude.
He did my podcast back in the day.
Some normal just white dude was
Yeah.
like, fuck it, I'll give it a go.
Yeah.
How funny would it be if the comments on it were just terrible? How the Reddit comments about him on your podcast are just awful.
He's like I think he kind of looks like me. He's like just a regular
So you're saying
Armenian guy.
So you're saying like, why shouldn't I be with Serena
no?
Williams?
I mean, he's
You thought
shredded.
you had a chance.
He's shredded with a huge dick. That's what I meant. And
He's so rich he could pay to have you as peasant. Like he's just so
Yeah,
rich.
he could pay to have you as a life body double. Like, wait a minute, is he going to have you commit a murder for him?
well, the bummer that this is so fucked up, but I almost want her to be. I want her to marry like another super athlete,
Like The Rock or
so the kids
something?
can be,
to make
so the
just
kids
like
can be
a
sick.
No, well, Rousey got engaged. Rousey is
Yeah,
engaged
it's
to
true. Travis Brown,
who I hope he doesn't hit her, but like just the two of them, like they're gonna think about their kids are gonna be sick athletes, and they're probably not gonna want to do it because your kids never want to do the
what
shit
you
that
want
you're
them to
doing.
do.
That's
So
true,
like
man.
their kids are gonna be
What
lawyers.
are your
and
folks
CPAs.
do?
My dad's a computer programmer.
Okay.
See?
Yep.
The example.
Well, my brother's in computer programming.
Well,
Fine. All right,
fine.
that's one.
You fulfilled it.
Okay,
By the
so
way,
you got one.
Well, what about your folks?
Anybody watching that? There he is. There's Jay Shaw.
There's Big Jay.
I mean, the thing about Brian Callen is both of his parents were into comedy, so naturally he's not. So they were very funny.
They
so
were
he went
funny,
against
so
the
he
grain.
chose to
That's
go
right.
the opposite
Is
route.
there-
My
any
parents both
comics?
danced at the bullshit.
Is there any comics that followed their parents' footsteps?
Sure,
real
yes.
successful.
Andy Dick's son?
Andy Dick's son does comedy.
Yeah.
You know whose daughter does comedy?
No, I'm talking like killing it. I know there's like
John
John
Cleese's daughter?
John Cleese's daughter.
Pauly Shore's dad was a comedian and mom on the comedy store.
Lorraine Newman's daughter does comedy in New York, and she's really good.
Jim Carrey's daughter sings.
Chris Elliott's daughter was on SNL. So I mean, you
Elliott.
know,
That's
Abby Elliott, and she's a great,
And she's
you
on Odd Mom Out. She's
So
really funny.
you don't get on SNL unless you are. You understand?
Unless you earned it.
Unless you earn it.